Would you like to play City Skylines without highways, or at least a city that's dominated by highways? Do you get excited about railroads? Well, in this episode of Less Traffic Livestream, I'll show you how to build cities that happen before highways and railroads that have stations in the middle of town instead of just going off into a little burg like we have here. So I don't have a whole lot scripted here, but I do want to come in and cover a few things here today. Happy to see everybody. Hopefully you're able to stick around for the whole thing. Got some good stuff going on here. Just taking a quick look at the chat here. We've got some people who are excited about buses. Elric 1977 for sure. We've got a friend from Brazil. Usuario. I hope I said your name right. Let's see here. Taught how to solve it all before his lessons. My traffic flow was 67% on average, and now it's up to 81%. Hey, 81 is a pretty good number. Although I will say that traffic flow percentages are good for bragging rights. They're not necessarily the be all to end all, as we say. Let's see here. You'll need to go back through some of the videos. I just started a new city. It just needs a bit of tweaking. One thing I've learned sometimes, mods like Traffic Manager President is the cause of the problem. Yep, I've had that same thing happen. I've made it so you can't make turns. Next thing you know, you're seeing traffic that is not taking a certain direction through a roundabout, and you're like, what's going on here? I don't understand this. Vertan Vehan, hi Lee, pleasure to have you back. Glad to be here. Hopefully Monday works well for a lot of people. Tomas Dale, first time watching live. Well, welcome. Glad to have you here. And hopefully you guys can hear me okay. Hopefully you can hear the game okay and not overwhelming. I did kind of set the settings back again. Just let me know if it's too much. I'll try to fix it as best I can. Probably could have done that beforehand. Oh well, what are you going to do? All right, so your name is Brian. Well, right. That's a lot easier to say than Usuario or Usuario. I don't know how you say your name. I'm not good with Portuguese or Spanish or any of those. I'm learning. I am having some fun with this. All right, so just a few changes I made since the last episode. Sound is good. Thanks, Elric and Richard. Cool. Hey, thanks for catching them all, Nathan. Love that. All right, so since last time, if you missed anything, just to catch you up, we built a railroad to the side edge of the map right here. Goes through a tunnel, goes over a bridge, and then into instead of it being called Laguna Station, I thought I'd still keep it with a nice Spanish name and not do any Spanglish. Although maybe we'll do that. I decided to call this Paso Laguna because there's the lagoon, and it's at the end of the lagoon, but it's also on this nifty little pass. If I turn on the terrain lines, you can really see it. It's a little pass that goes over to the main port. And one of the problems you'll notice about Paso Laguna is there's no fire or police coverage. So anytime anybody has a problem, there's this army of police and whatnot that comes over. That's going to have to be something we'll fix here. Get some better coverage here. I also replaced this train station because I can't remember who told me this. I think it might have been... Oh man, I can see the name in my head, but I can't see the letters. I can't see the words. But either way, somebody pointed out to me very kindly on the stream and also in the comment section of the last one that I put down 2 regular train stations here instead of a cargo station right here. So for right now, we've got this one cargo station here. We've got a passenger station here. Oh, and Paso Laguna is not very big, just so you know. I guess it's gotten a lot bigger. It's almost up to 2,000. So it's a decent sized railroad village. Not a whole lot of industry. Got some commercial. Got some people living there. We're gonna put some industry there if we have time. The port, still have to redesign that. We're gonna try to work on that today. The Tech Institute, need to add some attractiveness here because we have the students. We're going to have to work on that too. Let's see here. Oh, and I also went ahead and named all the streets. This is Aristotle Park now, and that's Aristotle Street, which feeds right into my tech college here, my tech school, trade school campus. But it's Pacific Tech now, so. And this is Technical Drive. And so we definitely need to cut down on the parade of ambulances, police, maybe even garbage trucks. Might cut down some of that too. Build a recycling center or something out in Paso Laguna. And then the other thing I did is I named this area, since it's a slight hill between a whole bunch of other hills. I thought, well, hey, you know, if I was a bunch of Spanish settlers, I might just say, well, yeah, you want to go up the hill for that. I think that would be La Colina. I hope. Conscript David, you're the one. That was the one I was trying to think of. You're the one that told me about the station in Paso Laguna, or Laguna Station, formerly known as Laguna Station. Okay, so cool. Just checking in on the chat again here. Thanks for letting me know about the sound. Expletive deleted 101. Aki Immortal, good to see you again. Not too many traffic lights. That's a very good, important thing. Brian or Usuario. Lucas, hello from Poland. Hello from Ohio. Yeah, less traffic lights are usually better, although sometimes you need a traffic light at a busy intersection. Yes, you're absolutely right. Conscript David will be out. We'll be here. And you can catch whatever we got in the replay. It'll be up pretty quick after. Okay, so let's see here. We've got lots of work to do. One of the things I want to do is, well, I want to reorganize this port, but I think what would be even better to start off with is to get a central station over here. And I had a couple of ideas for the rails, and I think I stumbled on one that I kind of like better. My original idea was for the rail to come down here, down this hill, through the port, and then back out here along the waterfront, which was going to be heartbreaking. I really hated this plan. And then out into this valley, and I would have another railroad that would run out here to the north side of the map. The other thing I wanted to do with that plan is run through the waterfront and have a spur that went off over here, hug the waterfront, because we could get away without having to have the grade, or we could just do an easy cut through that hill. And then we'd be able to get to all this flat area. Since trains like flat areas, so do industries. We could have some farming industry or something out here, possibly. I think that's ore. It's either that or it's oil. And also some fishing industry and stuff around here with these inlets. I still want to build a railroad out here. I think that would be a super cool idea. But I discovered that... Alright, so I'm going to get the terrain tool out here. And I'll just show you how I measured this out a little bit here. I've really not practiced this, so, you know, it's going to be a little messy. I might have to redo some things. Okay, so my ground level here is 92. And I've got about 92, I think. Yeah, over here on the pass, on the Laguna Pass, or Paso Laguna. And I was thinking, by the time it gets over here, that rail is about 88, 89 meters, somewhere in there, or I could pull it out here. Yeah, somewhere between 87 and 89 meters. Add 12 to that and you get close to 100 meters. So if I was running at about 100 meters, I'd be halfway up. I'd be like 5 or 6 meters above technical drive. Maybe 8 meters. And then I could have it run along the hill. I could have a connection that runs into, you know, the main line up here through Paso Laguna. I'd probably run it through that valley and then run it through Paso Laguna and off to the east edge of the map where we already have that line. And then I could also have another line that runs straight across. I would be able to have a grade separation here, which is good because trains crossing, not always the best thing. So if you can separate the grades and have a bridge, that would be better. And then I could run it out here, and that's already at about 100 too. So I would have a nice flat grade for the most part to get across this area here. Go around. Actually, I'd go right across here. I'd have a slightly elevated. I could split the difference between these roads. Run along the edge of this mountain. Have a spur line that comes down along the edge of downtown and then through this area around there. Or maybe even build a tunnel. Probably not a tunnel, but we could build a tunnel. That would free up more of the waterfront for sure. Yeah, tunnel might not be the worst thing. And I'd still have access to this valley. I just have it on this side. I'd probably run a line up there too. So that's what we're going to do with the railroad. And I'm going to put... the reason why I thought this would be a good idea is because I've already got a lot of downtown built. And I have this area here. I could do anything with this. I can move this around to any place I want if I need to in order to get a station to fit in here. I could even fit a rather large station in there. And I pulled some assets down. And I'm going to split the difference here. I think it'll look really cool when it's done. So let's get started. For starters, I'm going to go level some ground here. So this hill is probably about as close as I'm going to get here. It looks like that's about 100. So why don't we figure on just 100 meter elevation here? That should do. Yeah, you know, I keep thinking about that tunnel. I kind of like that idea. So I'm going to be about 7 or 8 meters above Laguna Boulevard right here, which will make for a decent bridge. I might just bring it over here, though, because I don't want to interrupt that cool view that's going to be had right there. So you'll go around over the pass, come around, and then get a great view of the tech school, Pacific Tech, and downtown off in the distance. Hopefully that sounds like fun. What do you guys think? Let me know. Good evening to Skinniest Fat Man. Well, we know what side of the world you're on because it's the middle of the afternoon in in Ohio. Hello from Chile. Good to see you from Chile. Is that Tar Hole? I don't know. My Spanish is bad. Sorry. 1977. Actually, the music could probably be dialed back a touch. It's pretty loud when you zoom in. Okay, I'll keep that in mind. I love that you consider the lay of the land and not just what would be cool to do. Yes, it is kind of a big thing. It sort of goes back to More Money, Less Traffic, Part 1. Let the terrain be your guide. So we're going to do that here. Let me work on that music thing here. Let's see here. Audio, and we'll cut the music down to, let's go to 10. And hopefully the bulldozer won't be too loud. Whoops, that was the wrong one. That's the bulldozer. Let me know if the bulldozer is too loud. That's always the loudest thing. And I'm probably going to be using it a bit. Alright, so now we're going to start sculpting some terrain here. Alright, so... Oops. I want that to be set at 100. Yeah, you know what? I'm going to set it to... Let's go to 98. Okay. And we'll make that brush just a tiny bit bigger. Now the cool thing is we have almost unlimited money. I need it to be bigger than that. Okay. Alrighty. Alright, so I got a good starting point right here. In this area over here... you know, maybe we will go to 100. We'll do 100. Let's just... Well, let me just do one more measurement over here. How big is this pass? How tall is that? That's 94. And then that is about 88. Yeah, we should do 100. So let me undo that. So 100 should... Whoops, that's not right. I forgot to set it back to 100. This is the cool thing with this mod. I can't even remember the name of it. I've been using it for so long. It's the terrain mod everybody uses, though. So just look for that. Let's see here. So we'll do elevated, and if we're going to do elevated, I need to set this at 90, no, 88. So I need to make a low area here to build my station. And I'm going to go to either side. Just give myself some room to work here. I'd like to build it over Broadway, but I think it's going to look better over Portland. And I think Portland's the more likely street that's going to actually go up that hill. Yeah. Let's build that right up into the hill here so I can get an idea. Am I going up? Oh, I'm already too high. Oh, that's 88. I don't want to be 88 there. I want to be 88 up to maybe here. Now I want to be back at 100. I think 100. Yeah, it's going to be right about here. Okay, so... academic year is over. No, we'll take a look at that in a second here. Let's work on the rails. Alright, so that should be enough right there. I think we'll start building at this point right here. Train. And I need to have enough room. I need to leave enough room to make sure that I can build... the... Let's see how this looks straight. I need to be able to build a freight line if I have to. So that's straight. I don't want it to be straight right there. Let's go over to the other hill and find the 100 line over here. Okay. So we weave it around through here and across. So I think we need to make it parallel with Bryant Avenue right here. Right up to this point, so let's find that spot. And actually, let's make sure that we're far enough away. Grab this train station. We need to be... Well, okay, we're going to be far enough then. That's not going to be a problem. Okay, so... terrain lines. So if I'm 10 away... be 2 units. Trying to leave myself a little breathing room so things can build up the hill a little bit. I think 10 units should do the trick. It's not too crazy of a cut. And build that right there. Okay, so that's the start. And I'll go over here and build about the same area here. Except I'm going to bring it in a little closer to Technical Drive here. I think. Yeah, just a little bit closer in 1 unit. Okay. Oh, that's not the wrong. I'm hitting undo. Alright, so I'm going to undo all those terrain changes I made for the time being. Hopefully they will all undo. So that I can see the shape of the mountains. That looks really good right there. Alright, so now let me get my 88 back here. In between Broadway and Portland Boulevard. Okay. So I probably need a little bit of a curve going up before I get to Broadway. Let's see what we have. Let me just build an elevated section here. Alright, we got 141. It's too close for sure. Actually, I want to make sure that that is... I want to make sure that this is 12... No, I want this to be 0. Alright. Turn on anarchy. Turn off bending. For some reason it's still telling me it's occupied. That doesn't make sense. Shouldn't be telling me that. It's anarchy. Alright, let's go 20 units right here. Over to... Yeah, that's what we need to do. Alright, so I'm going to go 12 units up over here. It's been a long time since I've played with mods and done all this crazy stuff. Okay, so why is anarchy not working for me? That is crazy. Let's just do ground. There we go. Now it'll work. Ground will be fine. Alright, so we're 12 units above. And as long as I have my straight slope box checked here, I should get exactly what I want once I get it lined up. Alright. So that's good. And we're going to change some of that to elevated in a bit here. Alright, so now I want to be 12 units up again from this little spot I've made 88 units high. Okay, so now I can get an idea of where I need to curve this road, curve this railroad. Alright, so I've got 22 units there. It looks like I should start right here with the curve. I'll just mark that out right there. Alright, so got a curve. At that point. And I do want to cut that a little bit close right there, so that actually looks pretty good. Now the question is that a long enough stretch for me to get a station in? And it is. Perfect. Okay, so now all I have to do is get an elevated station to fit across here. And I think I have just the one. Alright, so custom asset time. I've got a few. These are mostly from Bad Peanut. I don't know if I want to do an elevated one here. This elevated dual island is interesting. That's a possibility. But I'm thinking what would look even cooler is if we go with a modular elevated railroad station. Okay, so in order to make this work, this is a nice compact station and it looks super cool over the street. Let's see, I think I need to build a parallel road here. Forget how far away. We'll just start with, oh. I don't want it to be at that height. I want this to be at 0 height. Doesn't need a lot of room. It does need to be on the other side of the street. Alright, now we can try it. Yeah. Oh, that's gonna look good. Has a very cool look to it. This is from Bad Peanut. It's on the workshop. It's fantastic. I've used it in at least one other city. No, two. Excuse me, 2 other cities. And it's just going to look fantastic when it's done. And I can add more to it if I need to. Now I'm going to have to, obviously I'm going to have to drop my boulevard a little bit here to get this to fit, but it's going to look cool. Especially coming down the hill. All right, so am I lined up with the rail line? That's the question. I'm not quite. I need to go 1 more unit closer to it. Unless I want to split this. Nah, I don't really want to. All right, so oh, no, maybe I am in the right place. Am I? No, I need 1 more unit. All right, so I need to be 3 units away. Get my road out here again. All right, so I need that extra unit there. About 2. Turn off my lines right here. Turn them back on. All right, and module 1. Actually, I'm going to try to build it from the other direction because it's going to look way cooler if I do it that way. All right, so I'm 3 there. And this should fit. All right, so it's a little backwards, I think, isn't it? Yeah. I have to build the first one. Just make sure I get it lined up the way I want. Now it's a little bit of a weird angle. Let's do this. Whoops. Yeah. All right, I think I need to go over like a half a unit here. So I'll get my, see here, I need my one-way tram track. Just had it. All right, turn the lines off. There we go. Now I have it. Oh, we'll just keep going with that. Well, we're going to have to go across here anyway, so I might as well. Okay, so that should forgot to put a cross street on there. Okay. Yeah, okay, all right. So let's see, we want module 1. Right there, it should fit. I need module 2. And module 3. So this station is getting a little overbuilt, but that's cool. I might need to move it. Maybe if I turn anarchy off. Yeah, I'm gonna use move it. It'll be better. Turn my grid on. Snap to grid. Huh. That's weird. My mods are acting up today. Let's just get rid of this here. Ah, there we go. That should look good. All right, so the sun's kind of going the wrong way right now, but I'd say that's pretty well centered. That looks pretty good. What do you guys think? Yeah, it's gonna look cool. All right, so now what I need to do is I need to lower these roads to fit under here, but I'll do that after I get the rail line built. Okay, so it's a little overbuilt, but I think we're going to end up with enough traffic to warrant it at some point. I'll just turn off the parts we're not using. And we'll connect. Go out here, turn my guidelines back on, turn anarchy on. That's gonna look a little wacky. Let's see if I can fix that at all. That's not the way that was supposed to go. Well, maybe it'll look better once I replace that with an actual section rail. All right, so let's see, how long is this area here? 25 units, 24 units. Well, I'll be okay with that just being a curve right there. Okay, so... Magnificent. Alright, so I have to lower Broadway. I have to lower Portland. Now, how long is this section? 28. It's going to be a tighter curve. Let's do 12 units right here. Except I need to have that come out. Yeah, we'll just do that. Okay. It should be... Oh, that's not what I wanted at all. It was supposed to be level. Sometimes you have to double clutch the, the straight slope a bit. Alright, so let me find that spot again. Should be 12 units. This up sort of like the 28-degree angle. How did that? Yeah, that turned out okay, so that's good. All right, now let's work on that curve. 16 units, and we'll make it a nice even. Yeah, 16 right there. See if it left me some nodes. It did. Oh, I need that section to be connected. Build ground right here. Curved. Not the gentlest curve you've ever seen, but not too bad. Now this is the fine road tool that I'm using to convert between ground and elevated here. I think I do want elevated up to there. Actually, I really want to see 12 unit segments here, because it kind of bugs me when it's not 12. Alright, let's make that elevated too. I can get rid of that. And I want that to be ground. Okay. Not bad. So we've got our station going on here. Alright, so now let's fix our roads. turn off these stations because they're not doing us any good at the moment anyway. And now let's move it. All right, so first off, we need to bring this road down to a good level. That is hopefully not going to have a whole lot of incline. There we go. And we're going to connect that over with Broadway. Now, something I may just do is I might move Technical Boulevard. I might just change the way that's designed right there. Yeah, I'm going to have to do that. So this will be good because if you're going from university, it'll make it easy for you to get home to mom and dad. Just get off at the train station. Or get on at the train station, I should say, if you're going to go home. Alright, so now let's lower this road here a bit. Lower this intersection. That seems reasonable. And we need to lower this road just a bit too. Just to even out the grades a little bit more. And on this side, we need to go down. I think we need to move our node here. Let me make sure yeah, okay, good. Oh, that's not what I want. That's not what I want either. There we go. Okay. Go straight across there. That's good. Let's see how straight that is. Whoops. There we go. Now these nodes over here will probably move because I'm probably going to end up with streets over here, but I just want to get the grades at a reasonable level here. Now let's put that back up to 4-lane road. Okay, good. Looking good. All right. Now let's undo all of our terrain changes here. And we'll soften that up and make that a little neater in a bit here. Let's fix Broadway. So how much higher is this than Broadway? Get a road out here and measure. That's not gonna help if I don't. 7 meters, really. 6 meters. All right, so I need to lower Broadway 6 meters. You want the roads to be about 12 meters apart from the top, you know, separated by 12 meters roughly. It doesn't have to be exactly 12 meters. I've gotten away with as little as 9. It just depends on where things go. And the reason why I say 12 is because 12 is usually, here, let me undo that. 12 is usually safer because if you don't, then you end up with your light, your street lights protruding through your infrastructure here. Oh, I forgot to count. So that's 1. So now, if I should get -6 there, +6 there. Okay, so we're separated by 12 meters. It's not perfect, but at least it's not protruding through the top of the deck. That's actually a good place for a street light. It'll probably end up moved. So this is basically just splitting the difference between the grade of the rails and the grade of the road. So now we have to connect it to our main line. And I need to turn my autosave back on. Autosave every 20 minutes. Sounds good. Okay, so let's see if we have any questions here. Oops. Okay. Extra landscaping tools. Yes, that's right. Thank you very much. Expletive deleted 101. That is very much the answer. Thanks for popping that into the chat. Let's see here. Most underrated channel on City Skylines. Thanks so much, Assad. Appreciate it. Mikhail. I'm eating a yogurt and a banana. I wish I could eat bananas. How does he do undo? Control Z. Gonzalo Silva, I think is your name. You want to do Control Z or Command Z if you're on a Mac. That's how you do undo. And that only works with the Extra Terrain Tools mod. It's a super sweet to be able to do that, because then it lets everything go back to the way it was. Back to the chat here. Hello to you, Clement. Tones the Greek. Greetings from California. Where I live, we got a lot of hills, and often they just flatten the tops and build homes, thinking you can do the same in the hills and mountains off that main road. That's possibly what's going to happen, yes. Where is here, Conscript David? I'm curious. See, this is why I don't use mods. Also, I think that the bright sun in this game is too bright. Shadows look almost pitch black. Yeah, I have to agree with you there. There's not enough. I kind of wish there was like a cloudy day, a way to do a cloudy day, because sometimes it's nice to see things cloudy, because it's like having everything under a big softbox. If you're not a photographer, look up a softbox. It's a pretty cool way of photographing things. Dimitri, hello to you too. Scared Hamster, how you doing? Good to see you back. Richard Van Delft, what is the reasoning behind the 6-meter height of the train tracks and then dropping the road? I'm trying to get a separation of... I know this is not realistic, but it just works better in the game. It's completely unrealistic for real life. 12 meters, for those of you not metric like me, what was 12 meters? 12, I think it's about 40 feet. So it's insane to have a 40-foot drop from the top to the bottom. It's probably more realistic to have something closer to 16 or 17 feet, so 6 meters would actually be pretty reasonable. But I know in the U.S. and Ohio, bridges are at least 13 and a half feet, to be considered legal. Well, probably more like 14. They probably give a lot of extra room just so those truck trailers, don't have to worry about anything. But 13 feet and 6 inches, I have no idea what it is in centimeters. Is the limit for height of trucks in Ohio. So trains, the tracks are usually a little higher, but for a road going under rail, it is a little silly to have that be that high, but that's the way it is. All right, so I'm going to add a road right here. This is going to be a nice mess later. But we'll be okay with that. And just so I don't have any ugliness, I'm going to upgrade that. Actually, probably shouldn't have done that. Probably going to regret it. Anarchy here. There we go. And I think I'm at the right height too. Okay, good. Oops. Let me go to traffic manager here. Do stop signs right there. Ah, I need another one right here too. Nope, not that. Okay. This is going to have to be reconfigured at some point, but we'll deal with it later. So that's the reason why we had the separation. Okay, so... Oh, you're in Israel. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. There's a lot of hills over there, too. Let's see here. What station is that? That is the modular elevated station from Bad Peanut. Check it out on the workshop. He makes tons of great stations, so definitely go get some stuff from Bad Peanut. He's fantastic. The uni looks cool. Yeah, let's have a view of that. Whoops, too much. University looks good. Thank you. I played around with that for a long time. You know, speaking of university, before I go back to that, turn off TMPE here. I want to sponsor... Oh, hey, I need to sponsor an academic work, for starters. Let's do IT. IT's good, right? Make some more games for us to play. And I need to boost my pretty. I need 75 more in attractiveness. So let's see here. I could probably afford to build a couple of dorms here. So let's go trade school. Actually, I'm going to build a study hall in here too. Study hall. And I'll throw a couple of dormitories over here. And hopefully that'll be enough to push it up. Yeah, it is. Good. Just enough. 905. So now I'll be able to get up to whatever the next level is. I wish I could remember. Unrecognized, recognized, renowned, something else, and then prestigious. Yep, I don't remember what it is between renowned and prestigious. While we're taking a little time away, let's turn on... Let's build some services out here in Paso Laguna. We'll start with death care because we don't need anything being abandoned because of that. And I'm just going to stick it over here in this industrial road. I want to build a respectable cemetery at some point. Alright, we'll get a clinic out here. I'll build that. I'll build that right here. And I need a police station. And we'll get some fire out here too. So that's going to really dramatically increase land value out here, which is going to cause a lot of upgrades, which is cool. Alright, so back out here. Let's get this rail line connected in here. And since the sun is setting, everything looks so pretty. The bummer is it'll also be dark. So it's sunrise now. This is the Ultimate Eye Candy mod. I forget who makes this one, but Ultimate Eye Candy, you can't miss that one on the workshop. You can just right click over here and set the time of the day or night. If I want it to be night, now it's night. Now it's morning again. Okay, so that should... It looks like that little railroad street made it a little bit faster to get to police and fire, maybe? I don't know. Okay, so back to the railroad. I don't know if this is true in other cultures, but aren't there a lot of railroad songs out there? In the United States, you learn to sing all sorts of railroad songs when you're a little kid, or at least when I was a kid a long time ago, you did. I probably won't sing them for you today, although I don't know if it's terrible, but there's a lot of really great railroad songs, and I always have them pop in my head when I start working on the railroad. Okay, so, I mean, railroads were a big part of culture here for a long time. Not so many people working on them today as before, but anyway. Okay, so let's see. We need to start dropping that. No, we don't. We need to go over here. So then we need to start dropping it. So we're at about 88 right here. That's odd. Alright, so that's probably 88 right at that point right there. So we probably get away with that. Alright, so I'm going to bring this across right here. Ah, it's got to be a better spot. Might have to go up on some of this. It's not too bad of an incline. By the way, in case you didn't get a chance to check out Acruas, I have no idea how you say his name. I haven't watched enough of his channel. I just know I watched all of his railroad, realistic railroad series of videos. I highly recommend that. We talked about this a little bit last week. I couldn't think of his name, but it's Acruas, A-K-R-U-A-S. Go check him out. He's got I linked it in the last video. I'll probably link it again in this one. But this is a little Excel spreadsheet that I made. It's got formulas and stuff like that. He probably has better Excel sheets than I've got. This is just to calculate one grade. So basically I can go through and, you know, every unit in the game is 8 meters. So if I want to figure out the change in height or the delta of height in meters, then I can, you know, like I'll just do it right here, for example. So if I'm going to go from right here at 100 and I want to go over here, well, let's say right there, 92. So I need to drop 8 meters. How far do I need to go to do that? So I'm going to drop 8 meters. And I want to make sure my grade is less than... Oh, wow. I haven't used this in a while. Okay, so I want to figure out how many units I can go here. So a 1% grade... This is not calculating quite like I was hoping, is it? Okay, so... Yeah, alright, so there we go. That's going to get me a 2.7%, 2.8% grade. So what I need to do is make sure that the distance is much higher, longer than that. So let's say I want to go 100. That'll get me a nice 1% grade. And I'd like to keep it no less than 100. Oops. I might try to go with... Yeah, I don't want to do 2%. How do I get... Okay, 1.25%, 1.25%, that would be 80 units at least. I could probably get away with that. So I need to go at least 80 units to drop down to get over here where it's 92 in height from this 100. So in order to do that, we'll build that first. That's probably going to be a busier line anyway. And we don't really need to go over the other side just yet. We just have to make sure we leave room for it later. Okay, so I need to go... How many units was it again? I need to go at least 80 units. So that would be 80 units right there. So that's totally doable. Let's see. Alright, so I need to actually start that curve a little sooner. Make sure I get a straight slope. See what I have here as far as my grade goes. That looks about right. Yeah, that'll be good. So barely any change right there. And now I need to start my way down. We'll keep with the curve here. Now how much was the angle on my curve right here? I didn't remember. I didn't remember to check. 137. Alright, so whoops. Yeah, I have no idea what the radius of that curve would be. I don't have the Excel sheet set up to calculate that, but if you go to a Cruis, he's got it. He'll set you up. Okay. Alright, so I can probably drop it about to here. It's only going to take me down about 3 or 4. So I'm down to 96. I only need 4 more to go. Whoops. Oh, hey, cool. So now I'm acclaimed. That's it. Acclaimed, then prestigious is the top one. Now I can get, in the next level, if I can get enough people in my city, which hopefully I'll be expanding it pretty soon, then we can get up to prestigious, and then I can start using sponsorships. But I need a lot more campus and a lot more students to do that. A lot more academic works too. So I'm going to go ahead and sponsor an academic work because I think that's more likely to happen soon. So I'll give a grant right there. And now let's work on connecting the rest of this railroad here. All right, we want straight slope. We went about 60. Let's go about 80. And let's make sure that we are... Yeah, let's use another curve. And we'll go straight through that canyon right there. Well, that other valley on the other side of that mountain. So we're not hemming in the whole area. So now I've got a nice, gentle grade that goes right into that station. this. All right, 40. It's probably a tighter curve than I really would like to have, but there's mountains. What can I do? I probably could make it a little wider. I'm not going to be too much of a perfectionist, though, here. All right, so now I am connected. So I'm going to turn off intercity trains here, and I'm going to turn them on over here. And I'm going to turn that station on as soon as it's done saving. Here we go. All right, so now we should be able to get intercity trains through here. Let's check out the chat. Okay, lots of stuff going on here. Oh, hey, 13.5 feet. Hey, it's almost like being on Reddit here. Thanks so much, like Expletive Deleted, for converting that 13.5 feet to 4.11 meters. Let's see here. Yeah, I can make a can opener bridge. Yeah, I try not to do that, but yeah, sometimes you end up with them anyway. If you want to have realistic grades on your roads. Roads, you can make a lot steeper. Cars can handle it. People can handle grades even better than cars. Let's see here. Our building is not up to par at all in Israel, but when it's hilly here, we flatten hills and fill in valleys to make it easier to build. That's probably true of just about anywhere, but there are ways of building into the side of a hill without going too crazy with it. Yes, I am trying to maintain realistic grades. Pomoni? Brushier? Let's see here. Scared hamster. I think it's still realistic. Yeah. Tones the Greek. Too bad you can't just have the bridge where the tracks cross over the road and just have it on earth embankments, the rest of it. Yeah. Well, there's all sorts of things I could do. Let's see here. Aaron Jones, where's the one bridge like it that is 2 inches shorter than the usual located? Yeah, there's one in Durham. Yeah, that's what Aaron was talking about. Modular elevated station by Bad Peanut. Thank you so much. If any of you want to slap a link in there for these things in the Steam Workshop, I'm not sure if YouTube will let you do it, but if it won't, that's fine. Just let me know in the thread, and then I won't ask for it. But you could probably put it in the comments on the video. That would be helpful. I would really appreciate that. Then I'll just copy paste it and put it in the description too, and you'll probably get a few likes. Do you prefer mostly vanilla, or do you sometimes use custom assets from the workshop? From John. I very much prefer to use custom assets. I'm not in this series because I really just want to I really want this just to go a little faster since it's live. I'll probably do some custom assets eventually. Now, what I haven't seen yet is a train. It looks like people are collecting. Maybe. Either that or they're just walking. My mouse keeps going off the screen here. Nope, they are collecting. People are waiting for a train. I just don't know where the train is. Let's go find the train. There's got to be a train. There's people. I just want to make sure it's not glitching. Thought I just saw a train going through the tunnel. Maybe not. Well, that's not good. Maybe I need another station that actually takes in... Oh, here's a train. Where are they going? They're going off the map. Oh, I thought I turned that off. Ah, there we go. There's a train. That's what I want to see. All right, so now that I've got that established, let's turn another one of these on. This is going to cost me a lot of money because these run $960 a week. Yeah, it's not too bad. Okay, so let's All right, so we're going to build a transit line here. Build a train line here. That's what we'll do. We'll put our bus system in here next. So I've got that station there, and I want to just run it out to Paso Laguna. So people can go into the city for work or go out to Paso Laguna to play. And that's all you have to do is you just set up with the train line tool, set up your stops just like buses, and there it goes. Whoops. Too far, too fast. Now everybody's getting on the train and heading out of town. That is what we want to see. Probably a bunch of people came in, I would think. I don't know. I guess we'll find out. All right, so now let's get some buses going. So now I don't need to run... I could run a bus into Paso Laguna down Laguna Boulevard. That might be handy, but I'm not going to do that because I have a train that runs through there instead. And it should be able to bring more people in. And I should be able to drastically increase the size of this area out here. And everybody will be able to get back and forth. So let's go ahead and put up a bus system so that we can support our trains. So this is one of the things we don't want to have is we don't want everybody to come into town and be like, oh, now I got to run a car or get a taxi. And they don't even have taxis in this town. I mean, who built this city anyway? So I can't think of a better place to put this. I gotta figure out a place to put this. Why don't we put it... Yeah, we'll put it up here. That should work for now. We can always move it later. So I'm going to set up a bus depot in the side of the hill here. Oh, no, there's no hill there yet. Okay, so got a bus depot. Do I have water in that neighborhood? Oh, by the way, I probably need water for the train stations, don't I? Okay. And you do need water for the bus station, too. There we go. Okay, got water. And I got electricity. Now I need bus lines. Okay, so bus lines. This is going to be fun. All right, now I could have used... If you have, I think it's Green Cities, comes up with a biofuel bus depot. I probably should have built that. That would have probably been a good idea. Biofuel buses are much more quiet than regular buses, but carry just as many people. Yeah, we're going to do that. Sorry, oil companies. Not really that sorry. All right, and so that's even smaller. I don't know if it has the same bus capacity. I don't know if it really matters. All right, so now we want to build bus lines. So there's a few things to consider when you're trying to build a bus system. My first consideration is main roads. You need trunk lines, and you want to run buses for the trunk lines to start. You don't have to. You can go straight. I mean, honestly, the rail connection is sort of a trunk line already as it is. So we don't have to... We want to make sure we build along our main roads first. And if we don't have it along our main roads, then, well, it will be really difficult. And the reason why main roads are so important is, let's look at zoning here. I've got all my commercial zones along, what is that, Market Avenue. And then I've got them along Campos del Mar. There's a lot of jobs. That's an employment center all through here. And then, of course, down along Broadway. I have a few commercial zones here along Laguna Boulevard. Also, colleges, universities tend to generate a lot of traffic. I'm not going to have a whole lot of concentrated residential areas, but you want to run along the commercial corridors and the job centers. You know, obviously the port would be another job center out here. We're going to work on that in a minute. So the whole key is that you want to make sure that everybody can get to shopping and that they can shop where they want to shop and they can go to work and go to work where they work and not just have to walk or drive everywhere. This is not that big of a city, so you probably could walk reasonably far in this city. Obviously, not everybody's going to do that. And the game sort of tends to skew low density towards driving in the first place. So we're not going to really need a ton of bus lines anyway. So this is another, big employment center here. So another place that we probably want to build a bus line, nah, we're not even going to do it. I don't think I'm even going to bother to build a bus. This is just so small. That's hardly even, you're not going to be walking very far in Paso Laguna. Okay, so the other thing too is libraries, public libraries, and the hospitals and parks. They also tend to generate more traffic as well, which, by the way, we have to work on Paso del Mar. And we can build Bonita Park, which, if I remember right, that's pretty or beautiful in Latin, some type of Latin-based language. I think Spanish, maybe. So to start off, I think the obvious trunk that we need to build is along Market Avenue. Now, how far that trunk needs to go is somewhat difficult to say. And you don't necessarily need to stop all the way at the end, although if you do, then it's more likely that these people over here are going to use it. So we are going to stop all the way at the end here. And then in general, there's been some studies done on bus routes. I can't think exactly of I think it is metric. In metric, it's 400 meters or 500 meters, something like that, is about how far people will walk for local mass public transportation, or a quarter of a mile if you're in the U.S. So a quarter of a mile, 400 meters. And for rapid transit, like, metro or tram or streetcars or subways, whatever you want to call them, those are about a half a mile or 800 meters, maybe a kilometer. You can make them closer, and in busier districts in town, you definitely want to make them closer. So keep that in mind. Let's see here. How big are my blocks? They're 12 by 20. So that would make, I think, 4 blocks would be a quarter of a mile in that in east and west. North and south, 40 units is about, I want to say that's getting close to a quarter of a mile. So people will probably walk down here in both directions. And this is why you want to design your neighborhoods with a decent amount of space. We will probably run more buses down one of these other avenues, so I'm not going to make it perfect here. So what do we have? 1, 2, 3. Well, we want to have a stop. How many blocks do we have? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All right, so I probably need about 1 stop somewhere here. That is not what I had in mind. I don't know why it's doing that. And I want one in the middle at Paso del Mar. And then I need another one. Why is it doing that? I'll have to figure that out in a minute. And we'll put another one here, just past Laguna Boulevard. No, we'll put it right in front of the park right there. And we'll build another stop right in the center of this neighborhood. Whoops, too far. And stop right there. And a stop right here. I don't want him to go around that way. Oh, that's not what I wanted to do. Yeah, there we go. Okay, that should be good, because there's a left turn lane at that intersection that... Oh. How did that happen? Okay, here we go. Now we're doing it. Now we're doing it. I don't know why it wants to go around that way. It doesn't want to make... It's probably something with Traffic Manager. I'll almost bet money on it. Okay. Whoops. I have no idea why it is doing that craziness. Okay. Shouldn't be a problem. Let's check on my bus options here. Traffic Manager, President Edition. If you have any questions, now is a good time to stick them in the chat so I can answer them in a second here. All right. Where are individual driving styles? Not gonna worry about that. Buses, mail, yeah, we'll do that. That's probably what I'm missing. Allow pedestrian crossings on main road. Allow cars to take far turn from into main road. Yeah, I don't like that idea. For all I know, that is the reason why it is doing that. Let's see if it makes any difference. Now, obviously, if I don't... Why is it doing that? All right, let's just look at the chat here for a second. Maybe somebody will clue me in as to what is going on. Right now, it's not coming to me. I'm not used to playing in modded, and every once in a while you get these weird glitches with the bus lines especially. All right, so guys, let's spam the like button. Luca, I would appreciate that. That would be super cool. Would definitely help me out if you liked the stream. Get a few more people in here. We've already got 89 in here. That's pretty good. Let's see if we can get it over 100. Let's see here. Caught up in the stream. I tuned in 20 minutes and turned into the beginning and watched it 2 times speed to get caught up. Good job. Richard Van Delft. In the Netherlands, the minimum legal height for trucks to safely go underneath bridges tracks is 4.3 meters. It has a built-in safety of 20 centimeters. Yeah, I think bridges are supposed to be 14.6 at the very least in Ohio. They build a lot of them taller than that because sometimes you get oversized loads, and we do have a lot of those. Usually they're over width, not over height, though. Over height, you have to plan a lot more because you're not just dealing with bridges, you're also dealing with power lines. So you don't want to get zapped when you're driving down the road and cut out somebody's power or internet or something like that. What's the mod for the sidewalks? Can't say for sure. I know which one you're thinking of. Scared hamster. This town is cute. This little town is cute. I hope you mean Paso Laguna. But, yeah, thanks. Dimitri, there's a like button? I like buttons. I like buttons, too, when people like them. Went too far. Skipped ahead. It's coming up. It's going up. Come on, guys. There's almost 80 of you. I would really appreciate it. It would help me out. Brewshare. What was the idea that Aristotle Park with many curved networks? The idea with Aristotle Park is I just wanted to do something to break up the grid. This is going to get bigger. I might build some industry over here. We're going to work on the port here in a bit once I figure out this bus thing. Let's see here. Scared hamster. Well, it looks nice. Glad. Scott. Nighttime in the switching yard. You guys are railroad pioneers from Dimitri. Scott, train of consequences. Megadeth. Skinniest fat man. How to mess with your Sims. Just keep changing the time of day. Yes. Don't let them sleep. Conscript David. That's true for nations, regions that had massive industrialization between 1850-ish to the 1970s. Not sure what that comment was in relation to. Sorry, I didn't catch it in time. You're more than In Israel, the only railway with romanticism attached to it was the Valley train between Haifa and Iraq that was used by the Brits before 1948 to move oil from Iraq to Iran to the refineries. Yeah, that's probably true, because railroads would have been as destructive as freeways here in the U.S. People generally like freeways for the most part because most people in the U.S. live in suburbs, which depend heavily on them, and we don't have any alternatives in most cities. In cities, they don't necessarily always like the freeway because they don't always have cars, and freeways are in the way, and they're ugly, and they're loud. Yeah, it's not much fun. So, but, you know, what are you going to do? Scared hamsters. I'm going to sleep. Good morning. Take care. Dimitri says goodbye. Conscript. Dimitri, where do you live? He is in Israel. Elric says goodnight. Expletive says lunch break for me back in 30. All right, we'll be here. Whoops, it skipped ahead again. Conscript. In English, it's known as the Jezreel Valley Railway, and it's apparently Ottoman, not British, part of the, Hejaz Railway. I'm not sure if I'm saying those right. That is not how I was expecting him to connect the rail. Oh, interesting. I wonder how you expected me to connect the rail. Cracked amoeba, rail fanning. You should try making something similar to, I never know how to say this. Is it Cajon or Cajon Pass in California? I sort of wanted to do that, and I don't know if this map has really got any terrain that's exactly like that. Talks about buses. Takes notes from Pomoni Brushier. 30% of my playtime from Conscript is hitting my head against the wall while trying to deal with buses. Yeah, well, I'm going to be hitting my head up against something if I can't figure out what this mod is. What mod is messing me up here? I'm going to have to think of something else. Maybe not run it down the main roads like I wanted to. 400 meters for transit and 800 for rapid transit. Yes. Tones the Greek. Bear in mind, if you hug the base of the mountains and hills of the railroad, you will have issues running roads over the tracks unless you raise the train on the other side of the track. Yeah, that's going to be a problem with the mountains. I know what you mean. I'm not looking forward to that, but we'll make it work. Usually railroads tend to be, at least in the U.S., they tend to be natural boundaries. Well, natural-ish. Almost like mountains because nobody wants to build a bridge or anything under them. So we'll see how that goes. I don't think any of the hills and mountains I ran along are really great for building on anyway, and if they are, well, they'll make for nice little isolated neighborhoods in the city. It'd be little villages, almost a little Los Angeles-like, which is kind of the way that whole city is. Karuha, I'd happily use more buses if they were not so clumsy, taking as much time to board as a passenger train. One bus is enough to clog a whole bus stop, so yeah, preferring trams when possible. I am a big tram fan too. I'm with you on that, Karuha. Skylines without skies. Use TMPE to get buses going on the main road. Yeah, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna at least use the lane connector if nothing else pops into mind. By the way, what's the mod for the sidewalks? I wish I knew what you were talking about. Hopefully you've got it somewhere in here later on. Are you talking about crosswalks? There's a couple of them, and I'm not sure if you're trying to put them on or take them away. Arsham, highly, if you have played with the parking AI options, how's your experience? Honestly, I haven't messed with the advanced parking AI that comes with Traffic Manager. Mostly just use the vanilla AI so far. So parking is something I'm not nearly as experienced with. I'm mostly advanced transit kind of guy. I've been trying to do that in one of my cities that I've been building for a few years since I basically started playing the game. Been done. Thumbs up to you too. I think that's a thumb up. Sir Korat, you probably have set up the turn lanes so that buses must turn right. Yeah, that's what I was thinking too, which is why I'm going to check into that. I don't know how that happened because I didn't set up any of the turn lanes, but TMPE probably did something automatically. Aki Immortal, after a stop, the buses are in the lane for turning right. They need at least one free node for a lane switch, which is not the case for your bus route. Yeah, that's what I'm suspicious of. Brian Usuario, you need to set it up at menu to allow buses to break traffic rules. I just did that, and I'm not sure if I reconfigure, if I wiggle things around, if it'll fix it. We'll see what happens. It looks like some of it got fixed right through downtown. But it's not wanting to fix all of it. I don't quite understand what's going on. Whoa, whoa, whoa. What? That's not what I want. Drag a stop. Yeah. It doesn't want to put my stops where I want them. Can't figure that one out. Okay, back to the chat window. I gotta get caught up here. Oh, you were talking about the railway songs. Okay, yeah, that's what I figured. Skylines without skies. How big are you going to grow the city? Big. This is just the tip of the iceberg. The railroad only just got here, so the explosive expansion has not yet happened. I have to reconfigure the port, and then it will happen. Gabriel Salvi, could you make a district related to Brazil, but it mustn't be related to Rio? We'll see. Richard, I have to go now. Thanks, Lee and guys. We'll check out the stream tomorrow. Bye, all. Take care, Richard. Jimmy Mattel. It's so refreshing seeing you do something different with the road layout at Aristotle Park. Hello from Pretoria, South Africa. Hey, we're getting all the continents in here. Gonzalo, yes, crosswalk. Sorry, no worries. I don't know what they call them in your country either. So it's all good. So yeah, there's a couple of things with crosswalks. I can't remember if I put the mod in or not. I was trying to because I wanted to put crosswalks here at Campos del Mar, which by the way is at level 3, and we could easily make it level 4 and probably 5 here if I added to it. Let's see. No, you know what? I don't think I put that mod in. There is one that will let you take them out though. And that's this one. Well, actually, it works with Traffic Manager. It's like if I wanted to take this crosswalk out, it disappears. If I turn it off, it's RM Crossings. It's linked on Traffic Manager President Edition, either the Labs or the stable one. I can't remember which one. All right, so let's figure out this bus thing. My lane arrows look fine. That's the thing I don't understand. Maybe I just need to add some nodes. I could do that, sort of. Except I'm going to end up losing some commercial buildings. Oh, it might just be worth it. It's the disadvantage of getting too perfect with things. Alright, so build one in the middle of this one here too. Hopefully they'll leave the nodes behind. Yeah, I think it is. Yes, it is. Yes, that's exactly what I wanted to do. Alright, so let's see if I can get these buses to run in the right place now. Oh, yeah. I fixed one of them. What is the deal with this? No, it doesn't want to. Now I have the same problem, except. Oh, I'm glad I didn't demolish my whole city trying to fix that. I guess it wants closer stops. This is so strange. I do not understand why it's doing that. Another thing I think urban planners like to go with is, man, this is not going to be a very successful bus line. Oh, yeah, and I've got some custom assets installed too I didn't tell you guys about. Wow, that's super frustrating. This is why mods stink sometimes, guys. I even told it it's okay if the, pretty sure I did anyway. Policies. Buses may ignore lane arrows. It doesn't seem to care. Vehicles going straight on may change lanes. Oh, that's probably what I need right there. That's probably what I didn't check. That's something you really want to use. I bet right there that'll fix a lot of it. Or not. Well, I know I've had this problem in other cities. Vehicles may enter block junctions, U-turns at junctions, red turn at U-turn at red traffic lights. I don't really care for that. That tends to create more traffic problems. Vehicles going straight on. Vehicles allow priority rules at junctions with timed traffic lights. Yeah, I'm not going to worry about that. Vehicle is this? I hope I don't need to turn on the advanced EI. Let's do that. There might be another mod causing me problems. Yeah, no, I'm not going to worry about that. Okay, gameplay, individual driving styles. Road condition has a bigger impact. Disable despawning. Enable advanced AIs. Prevent unnecessary transfers policies. Buses may ignore lane arrows. We like that. Vehicles may enter block junctions. U-turns. Red lights. Right turn on red. We want them to be able to go straight and change lanes. Vehicles follow priority roads. Vehicle restrictions, aggression. Let's leave it at normal. Ban private cars and trucks on bus lanes. Yes. Enable highway-specific lane merging splitting rules. No. Heavy vehicles prefer outer lanes on highways. Pedestrians shall not cross the center of a roundabout. I don't think I have to worry about these too much. I think those look good. Allow pedestrian crossings on main road. It could be because I have a priority road set. Allow cars to take far turn into main road. Allow cars on yield road to enter block main road. Use stop signs when entering main road. Yeah. I wonder if that's part of the problem. Let's see what happens if I do that. Oh yeah, that's what fixed it. So this is why I don't use the TMP stuff as much. Alright, so what I'm going to do, I really would like to have that not be a thing. Overlays, time traffic light, speed limits, maintenance, activated features. Yeah, I want all that. How do I turn off the priority road part? So those would be useful. Priority signs. Alright, so if I set this up. So if I set this up and I use the vanilla game stop signs, I don't have this problem with the stop signs. I'd love to use TMPE for this. I did not realize that they made it so that automatically takes over. But that is what's messing up my bus lines. So I'm going to go through and turn on all the stop signs by hand because I don't have any other choice at the moment. Thankfully, the city is not that big and does not have that many main roads right now. I do want a traffic light there. Uh-oh. Did my cemetery fill up? It did. And I did not put any death care in. Let me get some death care going on here. Oh, I thought I had some. Oh, I guess I just didn't in this neighborhood. We'll put some out here. guess that guy's going to have to move. Okay. Back to stop signs real quick here. Now I'm probably not going to do all of these. I know you guys are going to be bored out of your gourd if I do. But I need to do enough of them so that my bus lines function. That one's still good. I'm not going to sweat this too much out here at the port. Good there. We don't need a traffic light there. Laguna is the last one I need to do here. Sorry about this, guys. I'm going to have to play with this sometime later. Okay, so now I should be able to set up I shouldn't have prior. Oh, goodbye. No. No. Okay, I think that should be most of them right there. All right. Broadway has a few. Did I get these? Zap these ones. That one. And we're good. Okay. Now let's set up more bus lines. So I've got a main trunk line that runs along through here. It's nice and efficient. It doesn't go into the oil industry one. Industrial zones don't tend to really like to drive buses, ride buses for whatever reason. Okay, so now I need to connect Campos del Mar with my train station. So I'll build right there. I have a transfer point right here. And we'll probably run more frequent stops on this line because of it being in a more dense job area here. And let's put the bus stop underneath the train station right now. And urban planners tend to say build the bus stops past the intersection, and the number one, oh man, I did that wrong. The number one reason for that is because you don't want people running out in front of the bus because they tend to get run over by a bus. So if they're going behind the bus, then the thinking is that they're less likely to get hit by the bus. So that's why they do that. All right, so see how I've gotten that. Since these are longer blocks, there's there's a node in the middle here. So now I've got a nice run of bus that runs right up here to the rail station and comes right on back. So that'll probably be a semi-busy line. Now I want to run one down Portland out to the port. And I'm going to put that stop right there. I could ban buses through that neighborhood so that way they don't end up stopping where I don't want them. I'm going to move that stop right there. Have a stop right past that intersection. Have a stop. Oh, now that one's acting up. And I don't know why. You know what? I'm not going to put up... Oh, that's weird. like taking all my bus stops out. That's not where I want you to go. Oh well, that'll be fine. Right there. Okay, so now we have a bus line that runs down. Oh, hey. It would be good if that... Yeah, that would be good if that connected. Okay, so the other thing too is you want to pay attention to with the bus lines is you want to make sure that there's good transfer points. You know, so if somebody is... Oh, I'm getting... So somebody's coming down Market Avenue and they want to go down Broadway or go up to the train station, they can get on a bus, you know, somewhere over here and then transfer over and all that fun stuff. I'm not yet going to build a line down Laguna just yet. I think these three should do it. I don't know exactly why my bus lines are being weird again here. Let me go figure this out. See if I missed a stop sign or something. Because it seems to me like that bus would want to go down here. Well, maybe it would if I... Yeah, we'll have it do that. It gives a little bit more transfer points here. And I'm trying to get my buses not to stop in the same place. So let's put some colors on these lines. So hopefully you guys know how to do colors on the lines. We're going to have that be, yeah, let's make that the red line. This will be the green line. And this will be, actually, yeah, make this one. Make that one purple. Yeah, that'll be good. Let's mark it the gold line. Okay, so we got the gold line, the purple line, and the green line. And they all connect at different points. They all... the two lines that run near the railroad have stops at the station. So there should be plenty of opportunities to transfer. So I'll let you guys take a look at that while I take a look at the chat. You're in Portugal. Okay, so you're Portuguese. Portuguese is your language. I have no idea. I don't even know what they would call them in Spanish, a crosswalk. Arjum. With node control, you can add crosswalks with traffic lights. Cool. I have not played with node controller, strangely enough. I've just been playing so much unmodded lately that, you know, with the videos with More Money, Less Traffic, that I haven't had time to get into a node controller yet, or the lane marking tool, or procedural objects for that matter. And I love signs. Let's see here. Awesome. I just set up a pickup time for my new Tesla Model Y. Wow. We'll have fun with that. Karuha, there's a way to explicitly allow turning around on intersections so buses don't drive around a whole block to turn around, for example. Yeah, that might... Yeah, I don't know. I don't mind that too much. It might be useful to have it do a U-turn. I could turn on U-turns. That's not a bad idea. Ryan Usuario. It usually happened to me. It is connected with Traffic Manager. You need to go to intersection by intersection and change turning lanes. Yeah, I think actually what it was is it was the way that the stop signs work. The priority road somehow changes something. I'm not exactly sure what it did. I have to play with that sometime off camera. But once I turned that off, then I could all of a sudden build straight bus lines again. I usually use the vanilla stop signs, so I let TMPE do it this time, and that seems to have been a problem. I'm going to speed up the clock here a little bit. Now that I think about it. Wow, that's gotten quite large. And let's see what our traffic looks like. Oh, hey, that's great. All right, so let's watch the buses build here. And I'll go finish up with the chat here. Why not add bus lanes or do the lane connections because the same problem? Yeah, we'll get to bus lanes probably. I don't really need bus lanes. I just looked at the traffic view and it's looking really great. Upgrading to 4-laners with bus lanes would probably help, yeah. It is something like allow bus to ignore traffic rules. I turned that on. Oh, hey, cool. I'm acclaimed now. So mission accomplished there. Now it's on our way to prestigious. Oh, I already did have acclaimed. I forgot about that. You guys were there. Okay. Yeah. What I used, here I'll show you in just a second. Mods always pissing our lives off. It's true. No. Stop signs are the most important thing. It's simulation accuracy that turns on or off priority rules. Yeah, probably would make a difference there. What's the bus naming scheme in your city? Here it's just numbered lines and the company name. I know some places call them by the major destination or road, some color. In Cleveland, we have mainly a numbering system with RTA, and I don't really know if there's any rhyme or reason to it. I know 2-digit and 1-digit numbers tend to be more main lines, but we also have the rapid transit, which is 3 or 4 different rail lines. Actually, it's the 2 rail lines sort of turn into one. That's the one that runs out the green line and the blue line, and those run Van Aken and Shaker Boulevard, and they combine at Shaker Square, and they go into downtown Cleveland. And in Cleveland, right on Public Square, you've got the Terminal Tower. It's part of the Tower City complex. It's what they call it since like the late 80s. Used to be Union Terminal or whatever, which is why they had the Terminal Tower there. It used to be the tallest building in Cleveland for the longest time, and the tallest building outside New York City until, from like the 1920s or 30s up to the 1960s when Chicago started building stuff like the Sears Tower and John Hancock and stuff like that. So it was quite tall. Oh yeah, that's right. The Empire State Building was bigger, and the Chrysler Tower is bigger. There were a few buildings in New York City that were taller. But there's a lot of buildings that are taller than it now, but and we have one building in Cleveland that is taller than that. I think it's still the second highest building in the state, though. But anyway, the bus lines all sort of, a lot of them, they've changed the system up, and I'm sure they're changing it again because mass transit has been taking a sledgehammer to it in the U.S. It's really sad. If you've been watching the news with COVID, everybody's afraid to take public transportation, so then they're not really funding it enough, so it was never really funded that well to begin with. So they're making massive cutbacks to the point where it's almost like there won't even be transit anymore. So we have the rail line, the red line rapid is the other rail line that we have in Cleveland. It runs from the airport to downtown. I think it was like the first airport connection, direct rail connection in the country when it opened back in, I think, the 70s or the 60s. Which is really bad when you think about it, because there's a lot of cities that rely really heavily on transportation. Like New York City, you can't take a train into Manhattan from any of the airports. I don't even think you can take a PATH train from Newark to get into Manhattan. And I know you can't take one from, I'm pretty sure you can't take one from LaGuardia, and I know you can't from JFK. at least not directly into Manhattan, which seems crazy to me because that's where everybody wants to go when they come in, you know? And then Los Angeles is even worse. Los Angeles is terrible. Do not go to Los Angeles and expect it to be fast to get anywhere. They are working on that problem. It will not be solved for a few years yet. They will have a train station that could service LAX, but it is way outside the airport. It does not go into the airport. You have to transfer to a people mover, which won't be built for a few more years in Los Angeles. Chicago, on the other hand, I think you can get to both of their airports from the Loop, which is the central rail loop inside Chicago. That one you can go all the way in from O'Hare or Midway. They have fantastic rail service there. San Francisco International Airport, another great example. I think there's more than just the one train, but I think you can at least go from San Francisco International. You can get to at least into the city of San Francisco. The airport's actually out in one of the suburbs just south of the city. And that same train will take you over to Oakland, and I think Oakland International Airport also has a rail connection. I don't know about San Jose. San Jose is a ginormous suburb with almost 1 million people in it. There are no big buildings in San Jose. It does not look like a city that has 1 million people in it, especially by American standards. And that is one of the reasons why that they won't let anybody build up. Oh yeah, that's right. San Jose has the airport almost in the middle of downtown, which is part of the reason why they don't have big buildings. The other reason they don't have big buildings is because people don't want big buildings. They want their housing to be crazy expensive so they can, because they already own it and they want to make a lot of money. So it's just nuts. California has some crazy stuff going on. San Francisco can't build vertical fast enough. It's probably one of the most expensive places. The only other place that's probably more expensive to live is Silicon Valley itself, just to the south. It's gotten even more expensive than Manhattan. But they're all taking a huge hit because of COVID. So things are changing. Don't know what it's going to look like after the pandemic. But yeah, that's kind of the state of rail transportation, public transportation in general in the U.S., just a few of the big cities. Miami has direct connection from its downtown to its airport. The thing is Miami isn't really a business hub as much as it is a tourist hub. So the train doesn't go to Miami Beach. So it doesn't really do a whole lot of good unless you have a car yet again, or you happen to, live on the rail line. I don't know if it's not as bad as like Orlando. Orlando has kind of a pathetic rail system. It doesn't really go anywhere from everything I've read. I've not checked it out myself. I've ridden the one in Miami, but not the one in Orlando. Pittsburgh has rail service, but not as much. The bus service, though, in Cleveland, they use numbers. A lot of them follow a certain road or a couple of different roads. It just depends on the route. The east-west roads are much longer in Cleveland in general on both the east and the west side, so we tend to have a lot of lines that are sort of named after the road, but they also have a number. Like I'm in a suburb called North Olmsted, so I can walk, and the 75 runs up Lorraine Road, which turns into Lorraine Avenue and goes all the way downtown. Well, the 75 used to go all the way downtown. Now it takes you to the West Park Rapids station. I'm not sure if there's another bus line that runs up Lorraine Avenue in the city. The Red Line is sort of a waste in a way, too, because it was supposed to run as an elevated train or as a subway in different parts of the city and be right where the commercial, right down the commercial corridors in the city. That's not where they built the Red Line. They decided, hey, there's some rail that we can buy from these railroads that they don't want. Why don't we just build wires over that, and then we can run electric trains on it and go to the airport? So we have a connection to the airport and a bunch of industrial neighborhoods where nobody lives and nobody shops. That's sort of the state of things. There's a lot of park and ride, so it's nice to get into the airport that way, but a lot of times you got to drive your car to get there. It's not quite what I wish it was. So anyway, which form of mass transit do you consider the best in city skylines? I think metro is probably the best. Buses are pretty useful, but they're kind of hard to wrap your head around sometimes. Trains work okay, but they seem really expensive for whatever reason. The stations, it's messed up. Let's Let's see here. Which form of mass transit do you consider? Just don't go to Los Angeles. Yeah, Los Angeles has a lot of buses. That's pretty much all they have. They have a few trains. They're building a subway down Wilshire Boulevard. It is taking an eternity because they had to go through Beverly Hills, and somehow Beverly Hills went for it. I just don't know how they did that. I don't know who they had to pay for that one, but I am so thankful that they're getting through Beverly Hills. It now has a chance to go down to Santa Monica. Los Angeles would be fantastic if it had a subway all the way down Wilshire Boulevard. It'd be fantastic if it had more subways and more streetcars and all that stuff. They are building them, but they're expensive in the U.S. for whatever reason, and they take forever to build because of all the other infrastructure you have to work around. Yeah, Chicago's great because of the L. The conscript David Lee, if you visit Israel, you'd get a heart attack. Buses are always late. One train line with minor branches for the entire country, which is also late. Yeah, that's actually probably better than the United States. Don't come here if you think that's bad. There are no rail lines in a lot of cities. Columbus has no rail. It's the biggest city in Ohio. It's not very dense. It didn't used to be the biggest. It didn't even used to be the second biggest. It was the third biggest when I was a kid. And because Cleveland and Cincinnati have shrunk so much, and Columbus has gotten, pretty much all the love because it didn't have all the factories like Cleveland and Cincinnati did. It's just not as everybody wants to move to Columbus for some reason. It's where all the jobs are. State capital, Ohio State University. I'm sorry, the Ohio State University out there. Go Buckeyes. A lot of insurance companies moved there. Ohio's kind of the new Connecticut in that regard. In my country, Daniel, hey, guten Tag. Ich spreche ein bisschen Deutsch, Daniel Lucas. Lacus. In my country, every city is connected by train or buses. Taxis are quite expensive, and Uber is not a thing due to law. Yeah, Uber probably shouldn't be a thing in the U.S. either. Somehow they've been able to get away with it because they built a fan club here in the U.S., I guess. Conscript David, the only city with normal transportation is Haifa with good bus, RBT, and rail connection. Also happens to be a major airport. Yeah, and Haifa is also the one I always see in the movies because it's the port in the Mediterranean. Elric, 1977. Don't come to England. Trains and buses are always late. Yeah, I noticed that. I went to the UK back in, I think it was 2018, so about 2 or 3 years ago. And the trains weren't really on time. The Eurostar was not bad, but I don't know. It's still better than the U.S. We don't have trains, especially not that go as fast as yours. But we make a cracking cup of tea. I'm sure you do. I wish I drank tea and coffee. I'm not much into that. I'm not like Biffa. I'm also not like your typical American. My wife loves coffee. Me, not so much. DC has direct connection to the metro from Reagan and is built one to Dulles currently. Yeah, I think I've seen that. Oh, hey, cool. We're still acclaimed. It's been another academic year. My, how those kids graduate. Chicago going from neighborhood to neighborhood without going through downtown is impossible. Yeah, you don't have really cross-town routes much, do you? But the public transportation is way better there, for sure. Let's not even talk about how bad our connection to the airport is, except for a 20-minute train that does, get directly to two central business districts in Tel Aviv. It's so many transfers. Yeah. I went to Paris, too. Paris has a really fantastic system, and it seemed like London did, too, although London has a ton more traffic in its busier near areas. I liked Paris a lot. I have to say, I thought Paris was going to be terrible, and then I go to Paris, and I'm like, wow, okay, it's not oversold, it's undersold. It really is a nice city. But, London is really nice, too. I really liked London. Baltimore has light rail to Baltimore and connection to Amtrak and Maryland trains to D.C. That's good. I think D.C. and Baltimore, at least especially D.C., that area through there, the whole Northeast corridor is definitely better connected, but it is really pathetic that New York City has 3 airports and 0 train connections into Manhattan. That's just nuts to me. I can't figure that out. Same thing with Los Angeles. They have a bunch of airports there, at least 3 of them I can think of off the top of my head, and I don't think any of them are on any of the rail lines out there. Airport in Connecticut, I'm pretty sure doesn't have a train connection to New Haven. Yeah, I bet. Paris is the best system outside Japan. You know, I've never been to Japan. That would be really cool. I'd love to see how the transit works over there. Plus, you know, it'd be a totally cool culture to see. Totally different than anything we have here outside of the, you know, some of the Asia towns and China towns and Japan towns. Although Japan is totally different from China, of course. Bradley is our airport near Massachusetts. Yeah. Okay, cool. So let's look at the bus lines. I've let the clock run here. I didn't name my bus lines. Sorry. All right, so our green line, that's the one that runs on Portland. We have problems. That is too busy. What is that? That's the train station or bus transfers that are going on right there. I have the improved public transport mod installed, by the way. So I'm going to change the types. I've got a few custom mods in here. Biofuel buses, yeah, that's a bummer because they only do 30. 60 is what I've got with the Mercedes-Benz Citaro GL. Nice German bus. It holds 60 instead of the vanilla 30. I run that a lot of the times just because it, you know, just makes sense to me, I guess. I don't want school buses for sure. Get rid of the... of course, I would get ready to talk, and then here we go with an autosave. Let's get rid of the biofuel bus and make sure these are... That's an L. That's an L. And they're all L's. Of course they are. I'll get rid of all of them, and we'll just spawn new ones. Okay, so let's check out this purple line. It is doing much better. I think I want to go with the longer buses. I don't know. I think it looks pretty good. I think if we just change this, whoops. If we just change the types here to biofuel bus, I think that would be good. I have not messed with the trolley buses much either on this. I forgot to do this when I set these up. Let's hear that's Broadway. Let me name these. Yeah, we won't number them just yet. Alright, so I got biofuel buses spawning on that one. And actually I'm going to turn up... Here's the way you can close some of the gap if you're running a little short, is you can change the budget. I'm going to notch that up to... Yeah, let's just go to 130. Well, let's do 133. I'm a little OCD about the numbers here. Come on. There we go. 133. Add a few more buses on that line so that it won't run behind. It probably will anyway, though. We'll see. The gold line, that's the one down Market. We're doing okay for the most part. I think we should probably go with articulating buses here. So that would be the GL. GL. Capacity. Okay, let's see here. That's an L. That's an L. Okay, let's get rid of these two. Get rid of that one and that one. That one and that one. Budget control. Let's see if the rest of these are L's or GL's. That's an L. That's an L. Alright, we'll take that one off. Whoops, I think I took the wrong one off. Keep spawning it and stealing my spot. Alright. Okay, so now they all should be the right ones. And yeah, we'll just let that roll and see how that goes. This is Market Avenue. And what was the other one here? This one is Portland Boulevard. Already that seems to be making a difference. It seems like it's catching up better because it's got the bigger buses. Okay. So those are a few things. Now, I've taken a huge hit on how many are on the bus. Now, my trains do not seem to be that popular. And that's probably because we do not have a whole lot for, you know, a whole lot of reasons for these. As we expand some of this, though, I think that will change. So, let's expand our city a bit here. Let's work on that port. Let's see here. How are we doing on time? Oh, we're running out here. We've got 20 minutes left, and I still have to fix this port up and get a cargo hub in here. Well, first thing we can do is get the power plants out of here. And let's make it daytime. Sun just went down. Now it's back up. I love doing that. All right, so let's get these power plants out of here. We'll go over here. Oh, okay. Yeah, that'll work. We'll build over in Paso Laguna. These are probably not ideal locations for power plants, but I don't care. At least not solar power plants anyway. I wouldn't want them to be too close to the hills. We can move them back later. I also don't want them jamming up the skyline over there. It's kind of a wacky building, that really tall one. And the petrochemical place. That's a rough one there. We got a couple of warehouses here. Okay, so what would be super cool? Oh, I don't know how I missed that. Well, we'll just have to reconfigure that. I would really like it if the bus went to the port. It doesn't. But we were going to reorganize it, and that's why I didn't build it there. All right, so we obviously have a little bit of a traffic jam going on here, and I think we're going to have another traffic jam going on once we move this thing over. You know what, I'm actually probably just going to get rid of that altogether. How are we doing on electricity? We're doing great. So we're going to give these guys the axe. Don't need them. Don't want them. And these need to be moved somewhere too. But where? Where's our pollution? I don't really have a lot of pollution over there. Alright, so let's move this. Let's move this out here. I know where I'll do here. This is probably all gonna get moved. But whatever. We need another sewer plant out here anyhow. Okay. That's a 1. It was fun. Got a little mini flood right over there. Now let me get some electricity out here. Or I will be overrun by sewage. And let's get us another sewer plant out here. Oh, it's really hard to place these things when the water line keeps moving for whatever reason. Okay. So now we added a little capacity there. Not going to worry about these so much. At least now I don't have to worry about ships coming in through those turbines. That was crazy. I don't need that. How are we doing with electricity out here? Is it all connected through there? Yes, it is. So let's do this. All right. So what's our best option here? It looks like we probably want to move this baby right here. Let me slow the clock down here. Let's move this over here. Let me get some... Yeah, let's do that. Okay. I'm going to temporarily relocate that there. And... Oh, yeah. Let's build up a little industrial park out in Laguna. Paso Laguna here. Nice dangerous railroad crossing right there. That'll be fun. And I will just slap this together here. I am probably going to end up moving this, but I just don't. I need water. I just don't feel like being that meticulous right here. I want to get this done so you guys have something to see. Alright. And now let's build some dirty industry. And that will fill in. Okay, good. I don't want that to be going that way anyhow. Well, that explains why the trains were stopping for the cars. That would never happen in the US. Well, not very many places anyway. Well, we'll have to come back to that one. It doesn't look like that one wants to be stopped. Alright. That ought to do the trick, though. That'll get us some industry over there while we take out the industry over here. So we don't end up with no jobs. Although we're going to be taking out a lot of the jobs. I need to rezone this is what I need to do. Now hopefully I won't lose electricity. Let's see. Will I? No, I shouldn't. Close up shop. Come on, guys. All right. Let's get ourselves a cargo hub. Once I figure out where they put it. Where is that? Oh, I'm on the wrong. Yeah, I need to go to boats. Here's the cargo hub. Alright, so this should be a good place for that. And we'll use move it to lower that a little bit. toggle on our lines. Make that nice and level. Should do the trick. It's only one issue I just thought of. Oh, that's good. No, it's not. Hold on here. Put that there. Okay, so I really want a nice curve. Let's see if I can get that to go in the right spot for me now. Now I want a curve here because there's probably going to be a lot of traffic. I don't need it to be that quite right there. I have to play with this a little bit to get it right where I want it. And then I have to lower it again. Still not quite where I want it, is it? I'll use move it. Okay. Ooh, that's so close. There we go. Perfect. Oh. That's not so perfect. Let me make sure this is at the right level here. Nice level roads. There we go. Nice, easy curve. And now I can... I'm just gonna have to I'll move it. I'll move it over here. Oh, I can't move it over there, can I? Well, I'm gonna have to just kiss all those loads goodbye. Some of these incinerators out of here. Forgot about that. We wanted to do that, didn't we? Now, I like to put my incinerators out by the industrial areas because, you know, dirty industry seems to be just fine with the company. Not everybody else really enjoys it. And that's going to be temporary too. That stuff does not seem to want to go away. It's using the new port. That's what I want to see. Alright, so now I need to connect the rail line. And honestly, boy, I sort of wish that this was over here now. I could move that, and it would be pretty well consequence-free. It'd just be tricky to get that lined up with the grid again. Let's build a road parallel here. So if I build it right here, then it's not going to be weird with a rail line. I just have to move it to get in the right spot. Almost, but not quite. There we go. That should do it. Alright, so now I need a rail. It's probably going to look really silly right there. I don't know what else to do. It's just the way this game works. And I'd like to put this port up closer to market. Yeah, I should do that. Oh, I don't have no electricity in that one anyway. Let me reconnect some of these roads. This thing is so picky. Even with anarchy. Wow. It looks like I'm going to have to put this here. Oh, did that actually work out the way I wanted it? No, it didn't. It's almost. Oh, no, no, no. Hard to play with these things and get them just right. Don't think move it. Yeah, that looks good. Okay. Of course. Okay. just temporarily we'll connect those two up. That would probably change this road. And now I'll build that rail line. Let me rough it in with a road here really quick. So I need to curve that down here through here. Of course there's something in the way. Alright. Go with that. Alright, 30. Okay. So Market Avenue is obviously going to get moved. Let's get my naphtha cracker plant. I'm going to have to move a lot of this stuff. Put it here for right now. A lot of moving things around here. Okay. Make sure I have electricity through there. I do not. Is that going to connect? Doesn't look like it. Come on. I don't understand why that's not working. It should connect. Oh, well, now it connects. That's because it wasn't electrified in the first place. Okay, that makes sense. Okay, now let's get a rail line through here. Let's build a, so I know that line straight across and see what our grade looks like. Because I don't want to have all the trains angled so that they go into the water. 83, 83, oh, it's flat. It's lying to me, I think. Yeah, that looks perfect. Alright, let's check our grades here again. 83 here. And 85. That should be fine. 33 right here. I want a straight slope. Ah. That was supposed to be a rail. Forgot to switch. Here we go. Almost there. Build that temporarily. So those are my trains. Increase the height right here. Yeah. Let me undo that. Really need to separate the grade there. I need to move this whole oil field though. But at least I have my rail terminal going. Whoops, that's not what I want. I'm going to turn that one off. Okay, so we've got our port. And we've got a nice grade going into it and out of it. Pretty flat. Let's make it a little earlier in the evening. Whoops. So now, next time we can go through and finish up reconfiguring all of this. I think that'll work out pretty nicely. I was already thinking that it would be great if Market Avenue extended out that way instead of just dying out over here. So maybe even have a secondary port up here. So we'll have to check into that. Let's see what we've got in the chat session. I'll give you guys a nice view of the city here. Let you watch everything coming through. Oh, hey, let's check out our bus lines before I do all that, before I get too crazy with the chat here. So 760 per week. That's a pretty good number right there. So Market Avenue is our busiest line. How is everything looking there? Hey, well, looks like we're keeping up pretty well. We don't have any bus stops where there's a ton of Sims waiting. That is always what you want to see, and that's because we've got the articulating 60-person buses running along that line. And it's straight, so people like straight bus lines instead of ones that waggle all the way through the neighborhoods like we had when we didn't have Traffic Manager configured right. Now this is Portland Boulevard. That line is doing okay, but this one stop here, which is, of course, the railroad station, is backed up a little bit. So that's a transfer point with not just the railroad, but also buses. I'm inclined to kind of let that one ride. It's not that bad. I'm not going to overreact to that yet. All right, Broadway. We have regular biofuel buses on this one, but Broadway is keeping up really well. So we've got a pretty good functioning bus system, and we've only got 3 lines. And as you can see, I've got one running along each of my main roads. I don't have one on Laguna because where are you going to go on Laguna? There's you could transfer the other lines, but this neighborhood over here, yeah, you're kind of stuck out here anyway. So it's not really transit friendly. Now, if I make this bigger, yeah, we're going to definitely want to increase that. So in our next video, I'll probably expand industrial along this valley through here and down into the port. I might have to do some creative things to make it so the truck traffic doesn't jam up Market Avenue. But one of my favorite things to do is to create traffic problems and then solve them. Right now we've got some traffic problems because there's only one rail terminal, and it also happens to be the one for the port. So we might build another rail terminal out here somewhere too. to make it so that there's not quite as bad a traffic trying to get out, so that's not a choke point. Also, we can connect that some way, probably run a bridge right over here. Yeah, but our traffic flow is not too bad, 90%. It's not a very big city. What do we have? Almost 17,000 sims. And we never got to the Campos Del Mar, but that's okay. We'll have a level 5 park in no time with that. The road out to Laguna, Paso Laguna is pretty busy. Our land value has gone up considerably out here, 21 credits. Pac Tech is kind of cheap living. Aristotle Park a little more expensive. Downtown, 42 credits, so it's definitely the more expensive neighborhood. La Colina barely has anything in it, at least probably basically the railroad station, 24 credits per, so our land value is really good downtown around the park. We're going to build some more parks on the next one too, but we're going to build a lot more city. Now that we have a respectable port and we have a respectable railroad station, we can do a lot of things with this in these neighborhoods, so we'll do that. Now back to the chat window. I'll leave you with a night view here of the city. Actually, let's go with this view. And you can see the university a little bit too. All right, chat window. See here. Where did I leave you guys? Wow, you guys fill out a lot to say here. That's great. Okay, neighborhood to neighborhood in Chicago. We read that one. Paris, Bradley. Japanese trains are also a rare example of privatized, profitable, and professional rail with good coverage because of their unique system of station ownership. Well, that's interesting. I'll have to read up on that. That's pretty cool. Rail integrated communities, effectively a combination of a mall and transit-oriented development. That sounds pretty cool. I like the sound of that. They allow the rail company to diversify into real estate and thus be profitable. That happened a lot in the U.S. The problem is that, the rail, I don't know, it's complicated. I'll leave it at that. Rail almost collapsed in the U.S. A lot of it was because of the interstate system. So they super subsidized the rails to build them, and then they said, "Oh, you're on your own." And then they built the interstate system, which competed directly with them. So then you had all these private trucking companies that didn't have to pay for the roads they were driving on, at least, not that much. They make out like the gas tax pays for all the roads. It doesn't. It never did. Moscow, in my opinion, has a solid public transport network, metro rail network that encompasses the whole city, connects with buses, trams, also inexpensive. Uber in Russia is owned by Yandex, which also has its own taxi service. You can call a cab in one app and get an Uber in the other end. Not much difference. Yeah, I've always seen a lot of really cool stuff about Russian subway stations, which I would really love to go check those out sometimes. I think Moscow was the one I would always see, but I can't remember if St. Petersburg might have been another one. But I think Moscow was the one that had the fantastically gorgeous. It makes everything in Manhattan, everything in the U.S. pretty much looks ugly when you see a Russian metro station. Whose of you already had the black screen issue? I think it is due to my desktop configuration. It sucks. I have 6 gig of memory and a gig. So my game sometimes doesn't work. If any of you knows, you might want to try updating your graphics driver. Or actually, one of the things I found is that sometimes you have to find a specific version of a graphics driver. That can help. Do you run browser in hardware accelerated mode? What mod do you see? Tiles when you use Move It. I installed Razer Boost app and it helped a little. Still having the problem. Rail crossings are, in my opinion, the stupidest idea. Trains cannot stop or yield to cross traffic, and there will always be stupid people who will not yield to trains. So allowing them to intersect makes no sense. Well, the U.S. sort of pretty much let everybody do whatever they wanted, and so now you have railroad crossings everywhere. Even in really heavily populated areas like the one I live in, lots and lots of trains, lots and lots of railroad crossings. In the city of Cleveland and a lot of the other smaller cities like Elyria and Lorain, I don't know about Lorraine as much. Lorraine has some railroad crossings still, but Elyria, for the most part, had all of its crossings eliminated. They, changed the grade of the railroad, or they just moved the railroad altogether. Railroads don't really want to do that anymore, though, unless you pay them to do it, and then they will. But it's crazy expensive, yet again. So, yeah, it's just nuts. Shouldn't you invert the cargo terminal so that you can better connect the train lane? Yeah, I think I did. Yeah, I bulldozed the old one. I got rid of that. So 1.6 gigs is not too much, I'd say, considering getting more system memory for now. Just close everything you don't use. I have a 1 gig graphics card too, and it's backed up by 16 gigs of system RAM. I have 32 on mine. I forget. I think it's an R290 or an R390 or something like that. Radeon. AMD makes that. Used to be ATI back in the day. That's how old I am. Couldn't tell you how big the video memory needs to be. City Skylines isn't necessarily graphics intensive, but you do need to have enough to be able to handle it. The power lines are in the way. Yeah, they were. 6 gigs is quite interesting. Do you have 2 plus 4, 3 plus 2? Yeah, that can be bad. You might want to try looking into matched memory. Getting all new memory and just going up to like either 16 or 32. Actually, the other thing too is you can probably have an integrated graphics card. If you were not using the integrated graphics card, you'll probably have a lot more stability. You might be losing 2 gigs just to the graphics card on your motherboard. Let's see here. Low for current times. 3 modules is strange. I agree. Yeah, I think I load mine in about 2 minutes. And I don't even have that new of a computer. And I have 32 gigs, sorry. Solid state hard drive, yes, that helps a lot. Definitely a good idea to have the page file turned on. Replacing the 2 gig sticks with 2 4 gig sticks would help too. I have to agree. Yeah, if you have a web browser open while you're on City Skylines, then you're definitely going to have problems. I am using Chrome right now on mine, as you may have already noticed if you know what you're looking for. Instead of Firefox, which is my usual browser, I'm using Chrome just because it's simpler than closing all my tabs and windows in Firefox and having to figure out how to reopen them. I don't know. Getting old, not trying to figure out everything like I used to. If you're talking about system memory, let's see if we can get back to the cities. In many ways, Conscript David, this feels like playing SimCity 4, but in City Skylines, the way you build your city in the middle of nowhere. Do you plan on adding some exotic transportation options, monorail, helicopter, blimps? If it makes sense, I mean, the blimps actually might be a reasonable way to go, or helicopter. I don't know about monorail. That might happen. Anything's possible. It's too early to say. I really am just spitballing it here a lot of the time. Sometimes I have time and I play around with things a little bit before I build them. In this case, I didn't really do that a whole lot, except for just trying to figure out that railroad, which is why it took me so long. I really like how you work with the terrain instead of just slapping down the building's transport routes like many other YouTubers. Thumbs up. Thank you so much. I just don't feel like it's realistic to just, I'll just move this mountain over here and then I'll, or I'll have a roller coaster of a train line. It's just not really realistic at all. The little town I live in has at least 20 rail crossings on the main street. No joke. I think I live really close to the city who at least at one point had the Guinness Book of World Records, had the world record for most railroad crossings per mile. I think per track mile or whatever, or at least per linear mile. And that's Lakewood, Ohio. Look it up. Every block just about has a railroad crossing. And they used to have trains running on that line constantly. But, I don't know, maybe 20 years ago, 15 years ago, there were a few congressmen who were like, hey, let's go to bat for Lakewood. I think one of them lived in Lakewood. And he, got that changed. I think, it stopped. Let's see here. Do you plan, let's see here. Midwest here, lots of rail crossings. They play havoc on transit schedules. Yeah, the little town I grew up in Ohio, just out in Lorain County, it's called Wellington. There's 2 fire stations. It's a town. It does have a really big fire district. About 5,000 people live in the village, roughly. And then there's several townships around, very rural area that it's surrounded by. And they service the fire. They're basically the fire coverage for several townships around. And townships, for those of you not familiar with Ohio, it works a little differently. If you're in New England, townships do not mean the same thing. Townships west of Pennsylvania, I would say, or not in Tennessee or Kentucky, are a common form of government in a lot of places, but it's like below county, which is like the level below state government. So townships are sort of on par with cities, except that they don't have mayors. They have trustees. In Ohio, they have 3 township trustees, sort of like they have 3 county commissioners, unless they change by rewriting the charter of the county. Anyway, the townships around are about 5 miles by 5 miles square here in the Western Reserve, in Northeast Ohio. So it's a huge fire district, and it's bisected by a rail line, a really, really busy one. It's even busier now than it was when I was a kid. I lived maybe a mile down the road, and there were trains on that crossing constantly, and there still are. And there's been some really fantastic train wrecks. If you want to really see a cool train wreck that got caught on camera, nobody was hurt in this one. A bunch of onions got cooked. It smelled like barbecue. It really did. There was onions and diesel fuel. The diesel fuel caught fire and burned the onions in some of the rail cars the train was pulling. Spectacularly, unbelievable, huge train wreck, and there was a security camera that caught the whole thing. Just look for, I forget what year it was. It might have been 2018. It was really funny. One of my wife's friends called her while we were out there driving around looking at it, and about a few days later after it happened, and she calls my wife, and my wife's like, "Oh yeah, we're out looking at a train wreck." They're like, "Oh yeah, I bet that thing is just a joke." It's like, no. They're like, "We're really looking at a train wreck." It's just one of those things. It's such an expression in the U.S. about things that are just not going well, being a train wreck. So we were actually looking at a train wreck, a real one, and it was pretty wild. How many rail cars? There was a huge field, and it was just loaded with mangled rail cars, and you could see the locomotives were getting picked up and moved around. It was a colossal wreck, all caught on video. So go watch it. It's on YouTube. I'm sure you can find it. Does anybody have any other questions? I think we're about to end it here. I'm not going to send you out with a nighttime view here. I don't think. Yeah, it'll be forever before it's... Let's do a little more earlier in the morning. So I need to get rid of that station right there. Or, put it somewhere where it'll actually be useful. But this city is starting to look like a town. It's going to look like a city in the next video after we're done. Hopefully you've got some good questions for me coming up. We'll get some of this stuff organized a little bit more. Let's conclude by taking a ride on the train. That's the perfect train right there. I think that is that a local? Or is that, no, that's my public transportation. Let's see if we can get a not so local train. Oh, perfect. I hope it picks up passengers. Nope. There's got to be a passenger train coming out here. We're going to ride the train into the city here. There we go. Here we go. This should be fun. Yeah, I do have a LUT. I forget which one which one it is. I think it's Colorful Summer or something like that. I don't know. I like bright colors. I'm a little Vincent Van Gogh that way, I guess. Expletive deleted. Great job. Hey, thanks. Urban density in this game doesn't make... That's why I like the... I agree with you, Conscript David. That's why I like to turn on the unlimited population and consumption mod. Hey, we're going around that curve. It's a little tight. I think that would probably make my stomach go to one side of my body going at that speed around that curve. Probably ought to work on that radius, huh? Hello from Columbus, Brian. Hey, go Browns. I like that. 9-3. Can you believe it? They've won more games in this year alone than they've won in in maybe the last 10. And they're still not done yet. There's still, what, 4 more games? How crazy is that? Another great stream. Thanks. Some great tips and ideas in this one. Elric, thank you so much. Tomas, thanks for an amazing stream. Can't wait for the next. Yeah, me either. It'll be fun. Maybe take one more train. I want to go into the city and go into the port. See if we can get a freight train to pop up here. Give me a freight train, baby. That's such a nice little spot. This is going to be a nice little... I think I could just put a little village right over here. I think that would be pretty cool, don't you? Yeah, we're going to do that. Hopefully I think we'll be able to do that next time. Throw something together. And might even try to extend that rail line a little bit further. I want to get some fishing industry going on in here. I have not had a chance to play with Sunset Harbor yet. It would be way more fun to do that if... Come on, let me see. Let me have a freight train here. Outbound. Hey, here we go. I guess I'm on. Okay. Yeah, so I don't remember what I was saying. Let's see here. What do we have in the chat window in here? It's so quick because of 2x speed. Yes, I noticed that. I turned it. I think it's at one time speed now. I should make it hide the UI. Citizens going to the cargo hub. Good deal. That's exactly where I want to go. We're going to go all the way from on land to on the water. And we're going to go through Paso Laguna to get there. There's the lagoon. So what should we call the lagoon? We can't just call it the lagoon. We got to give it a name at some point. How do you say... What's a good word for a big lagoon? Laguna Grande, I suppose. Actually, that's kind of cool. The Grand Lagoon. Hey, I like the sounds of that. What do you guys think about that one? Let me know. Yeah. I kind of like the sounds of that. And we'll find a place to put Laguna Bella. Somebody suggested that name last Friday. I like that name too. So down through that valley, we can see the city off to the right here. Looks like I don't have water somewhere. I don't know where that is. And now we're coming into the industrial area. We can sort of see downtown. Land is getting expensive over there. It's going to get even more expensive once I build that park up a little more. Oh, we're seeing a cruise ship coming out too. Oh, it looks so rural. There's hardly anything going on here. It's not going to stay that way. We're going to get some density and everything. This is not going to look the same next time you see it. We'll work it out. Well, anyway, hope you guys have had a good time. I sure did. This was fun. Take care. Laguna Verde. Ooh, the Green Lagoon. I like the sounds of that too. Yeah, we might do that. I like Laguna Verde. That's cool. I like that. Carvalho is Portuguese for oak tree. Well, there's no reason why the Portuguese shouldn't be in here. Pick some color in that language. Yeah. Verde is always a good color for a place. Everybody wants to live somewhere it's green. Beautiful stream. Catch you on Friday. Have a nice evening. You take care, Andor. And so long to everybody else. Whoops. Ooh, sorry.